Good morning and welcome, my friends. It's Wednesday already, and we're already into over the middle of the month. We're looking at Libra coming in tonight. I don't know about you, but I really need it. So Libra is a cardinal zodiac, and for those who are still new to the zodiacs, cardinals are the turning points. So the four cardinal zodiac signs occur, of course, on the fall solstice or the fall equinox, the summer solstice, the spring equinox, and the winter solstice. They're turning points. Well, we need that turning point, right? Oh, and welcome to fall. We're at that turning point, right? What's more, Libra, when you look at the symbol and the picture of Libra, you're looking at that balancing scale. We're not looking at an animal or a person or some sort of mythical beast. We're looking at scales. Not very exciting, I know. However, really, really important. That balance, that turning point, really helps us to embrace what's to come and what's happening in the here and now. So, for this reading, I do want to look into Libra and how we can use this time to our advantage because it's up to us to do some of this work. No one's going to do it for us. So, we really need to be focusing in on that and then looking at some of those challenges. The decks I'm using today, I love this deck. This is one of my older decks. This is the Spriral Tarot. It's gorgeous. I absolutely love the artwork. And then I'm pairing it with the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. Again, fantastic deck. Helps us with that connection, helps us with that healing. Like always, I have both these decks linked below. So if they interest you at all, you can go check them out for yourselves. Let's get into this. What does Libra want to share with my friends? Now, Libra is a really fun zodiac because it enters us into the thinning of the veil. Depending on how sensitive you are, it will depend on when you pick this up. But we all know through lots of horror movies and lots of different insights and sources that the thinning or the Halloween is kind of like that doorway, if you will. We know that October 31st, that's the thinnest point of the veil. The veil does not just go from normal to thin in one day, one night. Similar to the moon, it slowly changes and then it slowly changes back. So we have a good month or more. Most people can start to feel it around the 13th to the 15th of both months. That's when we start to really feel that shift. Some people can start to feel it as it starts to gear up at the beginning of October and the end of November. So we have this amazing balanced energy, this turning point, as we welcome the thinning of the veil. Workaholic. So this is connected to our throat chakra. It's the blue. So in this deck, the borders are connected to your 7 chakras. Workaholic sounds like what it talks about. That overexertion in our physical realm. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Libra wants to balance things out. We need to balance that work with that play, with that fun and excitement. What brings us passion and joy, that life-giving moment. So whatever brings you that connection needs to be brought up more fully and more often in your everyday, or at least as much as you can. Because again, it's a balance, right, guys? We can't just go, oh, I'm going to hyper focus in on work, then I'm going to hyper focus in on the life-giving aspects. We need to balance things out. And if that means making schedules, or having to say the dreaded no word. I know most of us hate using it, but we can't do everything for everybody. We need to put those boundaries in so that we don't forget what's really important for us, what's going to help us really connect in and enjoy our here and now. Let's get some more insight. What messages, guidance, and support does Libra have for my friends over the next month? All right. In no particular order. And why am I not surprised? The Ten of Wands. I love this depiction. Many of us are really feeling tension in our back and our shoulders. It's where we carry that heaviness, that burden. The Ten of Wands is being super clear with us that that overworked, that exhaustion, it's catching up to us. One of our problems, we're hyper focusing in on aspects of our lives. We're not using that balanced energy. We're not using that balanced mindset to have that work, get our physical needs met, then have that spiritual aspect, have that fun and play. Balance is not just a two-way scale like Libra has it. It's more like this wild juggling act with millions of balls in the air, because there are so many different facets of you and your life that you're trying to uphold. And it gets more complicated the more you're doing. So if you have children, if you have a spouse or a partner, if you're living with roommates, if you are connecting in with friends or family, there's just so many at play. And even if you have a fur baby, they're in there too. It's not just a scale. It's a great depiction. We know what it means, but at the same time, it doesn't encompass what that balance really looks like. The Three of Wands. So, in the lore of the Wands, the two has a guy sitting on or leaning up against this wall of this beautiful castle. And he's just like, okay, he's holding a globe and he's like, I don't know what to do. There are two wands that kind of look like flagpoles to his very rich and luscious and prosperous castle. And he's trying to figure out what he's going to do next. He has the world in his hands, but he doesn't know what to do. Well, the Three of Wands shows the same fellow putting action to the decisions he made in two. And that's what we're looking at. We want to start to make some action, knowing that we're already feeling overwhelmed and burdened. Like I said, not even 5 minutes ago, we need to put action to what we're doing. We're the ones in charge. We have to be the participants. We have to make those decisions. We have to do that work. No one's going to do it for us. Now, is the work backbreaking? No. This is work that is going to be fulfilling to you. So, yes, we may have to say the no, that we're already overburdened, we can't take on any more. But when we start to work on self, we make those decisions, we rekindle that inner passion, that joy for what we're doing right here and right now, we're going to energize ourselves. So we can say, no, not right now, depending on how overwhelmed you are and how much we're able to engage in this. We may be able to pick it up later, if that's something we need to do. Sometimes we have to say no to people because they become so reliant on us to do stuff for them. And depending on where they're at in their journey, they may need to start to take hold of some of that stuff for themselves. Yet another wand, the King of Wands. Using that passion, that creativity, that inner fire to our advantage. We don't feel overwhelmed and burdened. We can start to take the bull by its horns. Kings are the most fully developed personality. They have the most control and power. Here we have that courage, that inner flame, really connects into our solar plexus chakra, where we're looking at pushing ourselves forward, that drive. It connects into that passion, space, creativity that helps to really connect us into that joy, into that fulfillment and excitement for our day, for our journey. Now, creativity does not mean arts and crafts. It does not mean, I know that we've got these weird kind of, I think they're grapes. I'd have to read up on it because we've got a grape and I think a raisin here. We don't need to meet arts and crafts here. It's however you express yourself in whatever manner that's meaningful for you, whether that be in the arts and crafts realm, whether that be in computer programming, working on vehicles. It's just how you connect in and enjoy your space, enjoy your experience. And again, not surprising to see this lovely lady, the High Priestess, the second card in the Major Arcana. Like I said in the beginning, the veil is going to start to thin in Libra's reign. Really important aspect of that drive forward is that insight and that aha. We're going to have more connection to that as the veil thins. Our high vibrational support team can start to send messages and really, well, they're yelling at us, no, do this, 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 this. We're going to start to say, I'd really like to try that. That sounds really exciting. Those ahas are there. We need to embrace it, not be afraid of that mystery, that unknown. The High Priestess here, she is a gatekeeper. Usually the pillars are black and white to depict the balance, so really reinforcing that balance. And she usually, and you can kind of see it here, it's kind of hard to deal because it's really dark. She's got this kind of screen, this fabric. And if they are, again, hard to see if these are pomegranates or not. She does have the tree of life there. But we have those pomegranates, that fertility, that movement forward. And behind that screen is the wisdom that we're looking for, that connection to that higher realm. When we embrace our natural abilities, we have that opportunity to start to gain that insight, that connection. I like to kind of refer to the thinning of the veil in October, November as training wheels for our abilities. And I will be, of course, supporting you with these training wheels and really starting to connect into them a lot over that month period. Yes, October offers us that thinnest part. However, we still can use the thinning and how it gets easier and easier to the October 31st, and then it builds again, right? We can use that to our advantage. It helps to strengthen our abilities so we can use them throughout the rest of the year. Fantastic opportunities that Libra is going to start with you, and Scorpio will end off with you. These are abilities, like I said, you have the opportunity and ability to use throughout the year. It's just right now it's going to be easier. The King of Pentacles, Midas touch himself, if he would zoom. There we go. Of course, we have his brother on the table, We have that growth, that prosperity. It's coming our way. Again, we just need to be open to it. We need to be working and giving ourselves that space, slowing things down, balancing things out, saying the no word, which I know it's easier said than done because there's lots of people that rely on us. And if we can't say no, then it's about finding the supports that we need to be able to keep that balance within our life, within our environment, within our home and work. We can't be hyper focused in on stuff because that's when we really miss out. That hyper focusing is our lower vibrational self driving us, not that intuitive higher vibrations. The more we work from that high vibration, the more growth and prosperity we're going to see. That gold starts to come in different realms. Midas himself will start to touch different areas of your life. You're going to see that abundance start to grow. And it's not, of course, just that financial piece, not that materialistic piece. It does incorporate that, but it means on all aspects. So that work-life balance, that relationship world, your spiritual self, your emotional self, all those different facets, and there's lots more than what I just named, will start to grow and thrive. Now we do have multiple kings. Kings are the 14th card in the minor arcana. When you have that multiple 14, the angels are encouraging you to be mindful of the energies that you're putting out because they're going to come back at us. So we want them high vibrational. We want them full of light and love and joy rather than that overwhelming burden, that low vibrational energy. No one likes to be blasted by that low vibration. Speaking of which, the Five of Wands. Sometimes my camera works. Sometimes my camera decides to take a break. You have a very wand heavy reading here. That passion, that creativity. It's going to be really important. Using that when things start to get really rough. The Five of Wands, or any five, talks about that conflict. The Wands really talks about that passion conflict and how we have a tendency to beat ourselves up. Also, and I've talked about this before in my other readings, where how we're treating ourselves internally. So that negative self-talk versus that self-love and compassion makes a difference. If we're being really negative and hard on ourselves, that's how people are going to treat us. However, if we treat ourselves with love and compassion and empathy, nurturing us rather than being abusive to ourselves, that's how they treat us as well. It goes back to that double 14. Being mindful of that. Not only do we cause damage to ourselves, other people will treat us in the same manner, which just really aggravates and amplifies this. We don't want that. We want that high vibrational. We want to enjoy and embrace right now. We already have enough conflict. We already have enough challenge going on. We need to start to shift that energy, shift that perspective so that we can use the law of karma to our advantage. All right. Let's go to see the challenge. Now, I usually don't do this, and I haven't done it for some time, but it's important. What challenge will my friends face during the reign of Libra? Now, something that I do see, and I kind of like the end result, the kings are flanking the High Priestess, that balance of energy. Many of us are very mindful of that feminine energy, especially as we come into the Libra zone, if you will, the Libra reign. because we're just coming off that full moon. And that full moon energy is going to be with us for the next couple of days still. That balance of energy within will really support us with connecting into some of these opportunities, this growth and development as Libra moves forward and as we move forward. Well, that's kind of shocking. I really didn't expect that. Oh, the devil, the 15th card in the major arcana. And of course, we're looking at our ego. Who would have thought our ego would be slowing us down, giving us grief, giving us challenge, really amplifying that argumentative, low vibrational energy, and then that burden, overwhelmed work, and misdirection. Your ego, if left in charge, will stop all aspects of Libra. It won't help with that shift. It will not help with that balance. The Three of Pentacles. I like to call this card the Triforce Perfecta because it talks about you working with your physical support team and your spiritual support team. It's in that cooperation that amazing wonders will happen. So we're going to feel disconnected from all sources, physical, spiritual. It's up to us to put that step forward, making that connection, asking for that help. When we start to use our words, we start to use our throat chakra, well, we start to break down barriers. Our spiritual support team can't do anything unless we give them permission. They can't breach or break the law of free will without ramifications on their part, unless we're in danger. This is not life or death. This is just a challenge. It's trying to get through the muck to see that growth, that beauty. Additionally, our physical support team is in the same muck we are, without asking for the help. Even if we can't label it, just saying, look, I'm feeling overwhelmed and burdened. I need some help. Putting it out there helps you tease out what it is you would like them to do, or they can offer to do. Will go a long way, especially as next week we're ushering in Mercury retrograde. On the good side, we do not have Mercury retrograde coming forward through all of the thinning of the veil. Last year, it kind of just really tangled up the thinning of the veil. People were getting a lot of mixed messages and not understanding what was happening. So I'm hoping that this year, yes, we'll have Mercury retrograde into the first part as it starts to thin, but not during that latter part where it's that middle part where it's really thin and really something that we can use to our advantage. Now we're getting into the Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles. That stability, that prosperity. We're, rather than feeling stable and secure, we're going to disconnect ourselves. This covers the crown chakra. This has covered many of them: the heart, the sacral, the solar plexus. And this disconnects his root. He's disconnected and unsure of anything. What's more, he's barred himself in this small little room to try and protect what he currently has. He's not opening himself up to what can and will be. So we need to be mindful of that. We don't want to block ourselves in. We want to amplify and allow what we currently have to grow and encourage those really meaningful and fulfilling aspects to help bring in more abundance, helping bring in that fulfillment that we're looking for. The Ace of Swords, those aha moments. they're not always going to make sense. And that's normal. Anytime we're getting insight and information from that high vibration, it doesn't always make sense because it's like looking at puzzle pieces. You're like, I don't know what that is. It could be a face, it could be a piece of sky. We don't need to know every detail. My suggestion, get your spiritual binder and start to write down these aha moments. Even if you don't understand them, you can go back to them because just like puzzle pieces, they will be needed when that's going to be how far you get on what part of the puzzle. So having that information, and I encourage people to write it down in a binder, because binders are not like those little books, those little cute little spiritual journals that are so easy to lose. They're bigger and you can make them as pretty as you want. And they give you more ability to have different sections and to add in different aspects in, I guess, better manner than what the spiritual binder or the spiritual little books have. And a binder, like I said, you can put a lot of information on it and don't lose it as well. They don't slide behind things. They don't go into cushions well. They don't slide under couches as easily. So you have the ability to keep track of where that is. Little books, they have a tendency to walk away. We're not going to understand that information. So of course, what are we going to do? We're going to dump it, not writing it down. That's not going to be useful. Why would that be useful? Says your ego in misdirecting and trying to get you to continue to spin in circles. So writing it down, overriding your ego that you know is going to be a problem. It's been a problem since day one in this lifetime. It did at one point in time serve a purpose, but we've outgrown it. And your ego doesn't understand that. Similar to our inner child that we have to tame, same thing with our ego. All right, let's go on to what further supports and guidance we can share with my friends to really embrace the message of Libra. And I should say, you do have a number of pentacles. That grounded stability will help you maintain that balanced state more fully. Again, it's up to you. You need to have that balanced energy within your life, within your home, within yourself. It's similar to flying a kite, if you will. If there's no wind, you have to run. However, if there's a wind, you can stand and enjoy and just hold and kind of sway with the kite. The same is true with that balanced energy right now. We have to start by putting the kite up or working with that balanced energy. And you'll find that Libra will take that balanced energy and just let it grow and amplify it. Similar to the way the breeze takes your kite. So that's the best analogy I can bring to the Libra energy. Like I said, we need to do this. No one will do it for us. However, we do have supports. Such a pretty card. Wisdom. Connects into so many different aspects. But what's really clear is that we're going to have that ability to tap in to that world energy, that world card from tarot, where we're looking at that next chapter. That insight, those ahas, is going to be really important. Wisdom is part of our heart chakra. So he's green. Like I said before, the card, the border is connected to whichever chakra we're looking at. So the heart chakra, of course, you're looking at that love and acceptance. Well, the world talks about loving and accepting where you're at so that you're able to take those steps forward to something that you really want, that's really meaningful. We may not like where we're at, but if we accept where we're at and love ourselves enough to take those steps forward, start to heal, start to work through some of this stuff, we're going to find that we're at a space that is more meaningful. We feel better for being at it. Destiny. It's connected to your crown chakra. And I love the fact that we've got that balance, really amplifying that balance. So destiny also, it talks about that pathway forward. There are things that we've signed up for and that we need to learn. And we keep needing to learn. Many of us have a checklist of things that we wanted to do. Some of it being stuff that is remnants from other lifetimes, and some of it stuff that we want to add on into this lifetime. We will complete it. Just can't tell you what lifetime it's going to be in because it depends on your choices. That free will really impacts everybody. Vanity. Goes back to our throat chakra and talks about how we get in our own way because we want what the Joneses have. We need to keep up with everybody. We want to keep up with the trends. We want things to be the best of the best, whether we need it or not. That prosperity, like I said, that abundance comes in all levels. We have a tendency to focus in on that financial and that materialistic. It's important that we balance it out and focus in on everything, all aspects of you. Like I said, we're a diverse and multifaceted individual. There are many areas that have abundance that we're ignoring. So we're so caught up in what is expected of us, those demands, those expectations. We're not taking those blinders off. We're not being present in our here and now. And finally, victim. Connected in again to our heart chakra. So we're very, it's very, very, very common for humans to play that woe is me card, that victim mentality. I know I've done it. Everybody's done it. We may not be proud of it. However, it is a tool, a low vibrational tool, one that the devil really enjoys because it causes stagnation and really lets that pain and fear fester. Rather than taking accountability, taking action like we need, we'd rather play victim. Amplifying that hurt and pain rather than taking on that adventure, that excitement, using our skills and our abilities to our advantage. Slowing us down, causing more pain, causing more problems. So being very mindful of that. Like I said earlier, we've got those two kings. How we treat ourselves, what energy we put out will come back at us. We want to make sure it's high vibrational and not low vibrational. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I hope this video helped you to see what opportunities are there in the Libra energy and what challenges you're going to have to face. I will be again live on Friday, like always, for our weekly video, our weekly readings. They are live, like always. And we'll be heading into October already, guys. Oh my God. So quick. And as we enter into October, we have some amazing opportunities. It's up to us to take hold of those opportunities and embrace them. Now, I do want to thank you for spending the last couple of minutes of this video with me. If you did like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It helps people find me on the sea of YouTube, so it helps others to navigate some of these challenges and embrace their light, which makes your life a lot easier. And for yourself, don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. When you subscribe and hit that little red bell, you're told when I'm live. So depending on where you're at in the world, time zones, it's a lot easier if you just subscribed and then you get notified when I'm live, because most of my videos are live. My meditations come in as a video that I've already recorded, but I like to do my readings live. So until tomorrow, my friends,